Today, I want to get into Jung Kook's solo album that was talked about recently and people saying that HYBE isn't being fair. I want to get into people talking about Jung Kook and a male idol's kissing pictures. And then we have Taehyung At HYBE. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey Spilling Mug merch, and let's go. We have some very exciting news actually. I think all of us have been wondering what is happening with the BTS boys. We just had Suga recently finish his solo releases and then go on tour, and it was just very exciting. So this has left the fandom wondering, what on earth do we get to look forward to next? Well, recently Taehyung actually just finished up working on Jinny's Kitchen and is moving on to new things. If you are not aware of what Jinny's Kitchen is, bear with me if you do, but it's a show, and the premise of that show is that Taehyung and a bunch of his friends are working at a restaurant and they help the owner open up and draw in business. The show is really great and I try to react to it every Thursday on Patreon, and it's always a fun time. We do have a $1 tier on Patreon with some limited spots, so if you're interested, I'll link that in the description and I hope to see you there. Now, Taehyung is doing more so some of the stuff that we have known him to be able to do. This is the album, the long-awaited music that we can't wait to hear from him. He has released some music here and there, and he has mentioned that a lot of the music that he releases is not finished and likely will not be finished or on the album. In fact, once he released them, he forgot about them, even though the fandom has listened to them on replay. Recently, Taehyung actually posted a story on Instagram where it was a quick 3-second clip of Taehyung sitting somewhere and zooming in on his face. Most people would look at this clip to think nothing is wrong or that there really aren't any interesting moments here, except if you like to see Tay-Tay's gorgeous face, then of course that is interesting. But other than that, it seemed like a video selfie, if that makes sense. But funny enough, someone actually pieced together something. Someone took an old selfie that Jung Kook did in a room that was completely gray and shows that the background was the same in the Jung Kook photo and the Taehyung short clip. What does this mean? Well, it was believed that Jung Kook in that selfie was at the HYBE's headquarters. So Taehyung having the same background implies that Taehyung was also at HYBE. This of course means that Taehyung is likely working on something, because if not, why would he be at HYBE? I honestly don't think the boys manage too much of the internal paperwork or do any management type of work. They may be more paperwork involving music, like submitting concepts and submitting for the budget. Given the boys are small owners of the company and are also veterans in the industry, I do think conspiracy they'd be in charge of all that. Given that we see Taehyung up against the wall, I don't know if he would be in the studio, but maybe at a table, meeting or something like that. It's very exciting that this is in the talks. One thing you will find out eventually if you're young and have never worked in a company is that anything, and especially anything outward facing, meaning for the public to see, needs to go through a rigorous process of legal, PR, executive approval for money, everything. So if Taehyung is in the meeting right now for these discussions, that is exciting. While Taehyung is believed and rumored to be working on more stuff, it's quite strange that suddenly we see Jung Kook's solo stans being quite upset, because every time another member starts working on an album or doing anything like that, these solo stans think it's unfair that Jung Kook isn't having his time in the sun. And I can understand the frustration. Jung Kook has had a couple of songs and little releases here and there, and a lot of us, including myself, thoroughly felt right after the World Cup performance or Dreamers, he would go right into at least making an album. But instead he took a break, which is fine, but it was definitely strange to me. And a lot of people actually think this is the result and work of HYBE. There's been protests and complaints online over this. People constantly keep saying Jung Kook deserves better or HYBE treat Jung Kook better. But I think that is going too far. There's only so many people that are working at a company. Let's start there. When Jung Kook had Dreamer and all that, I think it was either J-Hope's solo turn or Jin's solo turn. I don't remember which, but the rollout for that stuff was already on its way. And of course, there was a bit more urgency for their stuff to come out because of their impending military service. So it naturally makes sense that the team at HYBE's attention will all turn to either J-Hope or Jin and then put Jung Kook on the back end. And of course, this means the PR team and of course producers, etc. And I'm sure Jung Kook understood. Was it the smartest move? I don't know, but it was probably one of the only options, again, given the military service. Now, another thought is, why not have Jung Kook do his solo alongside the other members? Well, they all share the same fandom, and the majority of people probably had it in their head that when each member had their comeback or solo debut, that the ARMY would want to go and see their show or buy the album. It's not like they have separate fandoms, so this idea that they don't want to exhaust the entirety of the fandom's wallet at once and then get the fandom to be unable to fully enjoy, stream, and buy each separate member's album and songs, so that was never going to happen. People were saying that HYBE was banning or stopping Jungkook from working, which is untrue. I think the certain armies that are requesting Jungkook hurry up need to be patient. HYBE and BTS members are hoping that you'd enjoy the individual members' solo music just as much and just the same between each individual member. And if you don't like or actively hate a specific member, then I don't think the member you like would like you. Things take time, and it's even more difficult in entertainment because even when you're independent, a lot of your work depends on yourself, obviously, but a lot of it also depends on who is available to help you. And when you sign with a label that not only is not making money from you yet, but they have to give you money, you bet they're going to take their sweet time with it, especially if they have other more pressing issues going on. It's probably one of the reasons that if you have to get money from the government, they take their sweet time to do it. However, Jungkook is in the news more recently and being talked about, so I am sure the fandom loves that. Jungkook has been recently believed to be dating someone from Stray Kids, Felix. I don't know where this rumor came from, and obviously BTS knows who Stray Kids are, but I don't think they personally interact or anything like that. They're also in very different genres. It's still pop, but BTS pop music feels more grown now, and Stray Kids feels very young. And so there's likely not going to be a collaboration or any reason for them to get together, but this was interesting because people were saying that a company exposed Jungkook and Felix together, and I was like, wait, what? Apparently PowerPoint, the Microsoft brand, tweeted out about Jungkook. So someone made a comparison to all the Microsoft things like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., and they put all those apps together and then put that next to a photo of BTS members all together. The original poster talked about how this BTS as Microsoft products, and then PowerPoint actually responded to this to say a Run BTS episode and timestamp. If you're unaware of Run BTS, this is their reality show where they play games, and it's a variety show that they produce. So not many casual fans know about Run BTS. It's not like a mainstream show they have on Disney or Netflix. It's their own thing that they put on Weverse, and we also react to it over on Patreon too. But the specific timestamp that PowerPoint referenced was a moment in Run BTS episode 31 where Jungkook was sleeping and he picked his head up confused to be like, what is this? So what the social media person at PowerPoint was trying to say here was, what is this tweet that is posted about us? And of course, ARMYs understood. PowerPoint then posted another tweet about Felix from Stray Kids, and people thought this was so weird to put the two together. This was around the time Felix and Jungkook had an article talking about them dating, so it further pushed this idea. However, BTS has never worked with Microsoft, so there would be no way for anyone at Microsoft to ever know about any intimate details of Jungkook. He was likely never at their office. Another moment came out where we see Jungkook making a kissing face at the camera as a selfie. Others were saying Felix has the same picture and that implies dating, or that they're kissing each other, I don't know. But this is crazy. Others were saying that the fact that the staff allowed them to post that was saying that they were confirming that the two were dating, but that makes no sense. A selfie is a selfie, and I think people think that the people who work at HYBE alongside BTS devote their entire life to BTS. This is likely not true. The staff members do their own thing and have their own lives. They would be unable to track every single idol that ever exists and try to find out what they're doing, so BTS members can stay away from that. That is not their job. An employee's job is to help the company and artists make money. All of these annoying little things that cause small drama in the community is not anything any company cares about, because it's not the job of a company. A company's job is to reach as many people as possible and make money. That is literally it. What the artists want to do, like make songs to raise awareness or things like that, that is the artist. Then it's the company's job to determine if talking about that is going to be good for their bottom line. So no, there is no team that sits there and monitors this petty stuff, and no, I don't think the two are dating. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.